Hey, welcome back to the Calling here in Dallas-Fort Worth. I'm Tannen. He is Red Zone Rogue, and we're going to be moving into our next match here in round 3 in about 1 minute, but let's talk for a second about what's been going on with these Lightning Briar decks that we just keep having, and boy, are these games fast.
Yes, definitely fast, for sure. And I actually really like the fast games. You get more reps in. You get to see more games. You get to see more lines of play from different players. I really love that. I think we were just talking, Ball Lightning is definitely like a standout card so far. We're pretty early into this, but already it's been like, hey, I'm Ball Lightning. I'm making a statement here. And the statement is, I'm going to hurt you. Like, it's going to hurt.
And when I'm thinking about making decks in the sealed format, you know, there's certain cards that's common that I want to see, right? You want to see Earthlore Surge, Earthlore Surge. Sorry, and some of your Earth decks, certain cards like that, Stirring Wildwood. But when I'm playing Lightning, I got to say, if I don't have Ball Lightnings, I don't want to be playing it. I don't want anything to do with it.
Got like one Ball Lightning, and you're like,
I'll make it work.
Let's look at some other stuff.
Yeah. And you know what? They're ready to battle here for the second half of our round 3 coverage. Let's go ahead and move into this round 3 match.
Looks like we have William versus Saint with Briar versus Briar. Once again, Saint is a personal friend of mine and a content creator. Really, really good dude. Really, really big supporter of the game. So it's great to see Saint here on the coverage here.
Yeah, absolutely. I met Saint in Las Vegas as well as this calling, and he is a Saint.
Yeah, he's absolutely fantastic guy. So it looks like we're coming in a little bit. So we have, so first off, we have a Shock Striker coming in. So Shock Striker is a card that does have an activated ability. So if it hits, it can, do a little bit of extra damage here. But it looks like Saint is going to be blocking it out. So he's just not going to be taking it, being like, hey, you can't really use that activated ability. So we have William just arsenaling, passing up, and seeing if he can do some stuff here.
Yeah, and that's a classic example of the going first versus going second that we see in your typical game of Limited and Flesh and Blood, where Saint kind of gets to just put 2 cards in front of it, and then at the end of the turn, draw back up to 2, and now I've got 4 cards, and I've kind of got the tempo from here since there was no arcane damage going through, no huge attacks, things like that. So he kind of gets to start the game now a little bit more.
Like, as a Briar player, I do like choosing to go first because you do have those turns where you can just deal the arcane damage, but sometimes you just don't draw the hands where you can do that. So we have a Bramble Spark coming from Saint, and once again, this is a good way to start your combat.
Yeah.
Getting that Bramble Spark, he did fuse it, so it's going to be doing an extra little plus on that attack here. Is this I think this is a blue?
Yeah, this looks like a blue one.
So it's going to do a little plus on here, and it's going to do the extra arcane damage.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to see what attack Saint wants to do here. I think that was a Earthlore Surge that got revealed.
That's a pretty scary one. I would also like to note at this point that William has a full set of equipment. I think this is the first time we've seen a full set of equipment here.
He's got some really good ones, too.
Yeah, he's got like Cracker Jacks, Deep Blue. He's got the Sutcliffes, and he's got the good old Ragamuffin's hat. Saint still has a pretty good loadout as well. Three pieces of equipment.
So yeah, 3 relevant ones, too. The Everplume here can do some really good stuff if the game gets a little bit longer. Make sure you get some of your bigger spells back.
Great way to get some cards back.
I'm a big fan of Mark of Lightning down here because it makes sure that your attacks get through and deal damage.
We've seen some spicy Mark of Lightning so far, and it looks like Saint's going to be coming in for 6 with that extra little arcane damage. So not too bad. Nothing to sneeze at. It's not going to have go again, but still 6 damage, some little arcane damage, and creating that embodiment is good. It's
right,
great.
so it does look like William is going to be going down to 19 here, taking this damage, like you said, making the embodiment of Earth, and now he's going to think about, don't want to block some of this physical damage, because don't forget, it does get that buff here too, so we're attacking for quite a bit here.
Yeah, we're attacking, for minimum 7, I believe? So, I mean, not too bad. Saint still has his, always has that Mark of Lightning here. Allowing this to hit does create that extra embodiment of Earth, so we've talked about this already. Getting those 2 embodiment of Earth is fantastic as a Briar player because it makes all of your non-attacks block for 4. And blocking for 4 is so good because a lot of the cheap attacks are 0 cost coming in for 4 for the red pitch. And so being able to just use 1 card to block it out is really, really solid because those cards otherwise would require at least 2 cards to block it out. So it just really gets you ahead on card parity. It's a good way to get this tempo.
And it looks like he's going to take the full attack here. William down to 12 already here. Second embodiment of Earth created.
That's rough.
So it's rough that you're taking a lot of damage, but I've always got to say this. If I'm the player doing this attack and they just take all of it, you get a little worried, right?
I'm scared. I'm literally scared because I'm like, if he's taking this, that means he's confident that his hand can pack a punch.
And he's probably playing all 4 cards.
Yeah, and plus Arsenal too.
Right.
And he's got like this huge suite of equipment, right? So he's got like a bunch of resources potentially from this Deep Blue. He's got the Sutcliffe boots. He's got the Cracker Jacks that we just saw got popped. So he's like, William's like, I'm gonna go in. This is gonna be a big turn. This is my turn. So popping my Cracker Jacks. How do I want to lead this? Ooh. So this is gonna make the next fused card that much more powerful, coming in with a
Velaflash, I think?
That is a Velaflash. What color Velaflash? Is this a red Velaflash? If it's a red, it's coming in for... Oh, he's going to be like, hey, wait, maybe... Okay, we're going to do a little rollback here. Okay, so we're playing the pump card, right? So this is a non-attack action that's going to pump the next fused card that he plays. If it's a red one, it pumps for 4.
Oh, this is an Electrify from Arsenal here as well. That's going to draw a card.
Definitely sequencing is very important here. So you want to do this, right? It's going to draw him a card. It's also going to make it so if the attack hits, it's going to do a little bit of extra damage, right? So if it's a red pitch, it's going to do 3, yellow 2, blue 1. And the fact that it's already getting a pump from the first card means that it's going to do, it's greater likelihood of dealing that damage. So he's just setting up for like, hey, I might not attack with a bunch of cards, but I'm going to attack with 1 card that's going to be, very heavy hitting. And it looks like they were, doing good old,
nice friendly fist bump.
Friendly fist bump. He's like, hey, I sequenced it wrong, maybe.
I think that was just some respect between competitors. Hey, like, I would like the same, if I made a small little, sequencing error, you would let me take that back. I'm the same way. Like, it's like, I expect you to feel the same way as me.
Absolutely fantastic camaraderie here. Yeah. And we do have an Embodiment of Lightning, because there's 2 non-attacks. Embodiment of Lightning pops, which gives this Velaflash go again. So, like, Velaflash... I'm not sure if he's fused it yet, but even if he hadn't, it doesn't. Well, it does matter, right? Because if he didn't fuse it, then he's not going to get the pump from the first card. Because to get the pump from the first card, you have to actually fuse. It's still going to have go again from the Embodiment of Lightning. So I mean, it's coming in for 5 minimum, threatening some extra damage from the Electrify. This kind of combo is pretty good because it also threatens to create more Embodiment of Earth tokens, which is, once again, just really, really good.
Which we're going to probably see how good they are here because we're seeing Saint kind of line up a block here, and he's got 2 Embodiment of Earth tokens himself. Yeah. So any of his blocks here that are non-attack actions are going to get an extra 2 added to their defense here, which is huge in this kind of matchup because we're going to be seeing haymakers get thrown back and forth.
Yeah, like blocking for 4, right? So, like, I'm not sure. So this is a very interesting situation, right? Ooh, I do see a Sigil of Suffering. Okay, so we're just going to regular block from hand, and then he's going to block with the Sigil of Suffering. So it's going to block for an additional amount, and it's going to deal some arcane damage back to the attacker, which is pretty good, right? Being able to block, get some offensive. Okay, so here we have the Entwine, or we have a Lightning card coming in, right? He is going to fuse it, so it will get that pump from the very first card that he played, right? So it's going to get pumped up, and we still have, like they're pointing it out here, we still have the Electrify trigger as well.
Yeah, so this is one of those crazy chains from a player because they had a card in Arsenal. They technically get 5 cards to start the turn. Yep. There was the card that from Arsenal got played. It also drew an extra card this turn. So we're going to see a 6-card hand get played out from William here and get a lot of damage through most likely this turn. Not to mention that card is still in hand, so there's still the option that something else could possibly happen this turn as well.
He still has it. The fact that he fused it does mean that it has go again. So this also technically has go again. So once again, he can follow this up. Baseline, follow this up with a Rosetta Thorn for an extra 2 damage plus that 2 arcane. So, I mean, I would say William made a pretty good call here, keeping his hand and wanting to punch in with that really, really massive turn.
Yeah, great turn. Very well sequenced from William here. Definitely setting up. I got to say this. Anytime that I can set up a turn where I get to end with my Rosetta Thorn attacking, that feels like a really good turn for Briar.
Yeah, and so, like, this attack, if it was a red coming in for 4, get that +4. It was coming in for 8 with go again. And then, he's going to follow it up. He's like, hey, I'm going to send this Thorn at you. Coming in for 2 and 2 arcane. This is a painful turn. Turn. And it forced Saint to block with most of, if not his entire hand.
Yeah, so Saint is going to be going down to 13 here. Embodiment of Earth tokens 2 on the side of William. So if Saint were to be able to mount an offense the way back here, he's got to worry about that as well. But it does look like he's going to just pass. He's got an arsenal set up. He's going to draw 4 cards, and he's going to say go. And this is one of the times, look, I absolutely hate to have a turn like that where you have to pass with no cards. It feels bad, but only taking 7 that turn from from what William showed with 6 cards, I almost feel like that's a small win.
Yeah, I mean, only 7 from a maximum of like a lot more basically.
It could have been something like 14, I think, that turn. I have to go back and count it all up, but
and like you can't just take 14, right?
Yeah, I think this is going to be another big turn from William here.
Oh, so we do have a fusion. So we have Bramble Spark Fuse. It looks like, I want to say a red. Oh my. Oh no. So this is an Earthlore Surge. So we have Bramble Spark into Earthlore into Velaflash. Is this, what color Earthlore is this? I want to say it's either red or yellow, but either way, it's going to either be coming in for +5 or +4, plus the extra bonus from the Bramble Spark and the arcane damage. Yeah, this is another really kind of gross turn. If I'm Saint, I'm like, oh, another one. He's got another one.
Yeah, whenever they're moving that fast and that deliberately, you know it's bad for you.
He's like, William can't wait to do this. He's like, I cannot wait to play this down. And here we have got that Velaflash up there. Love the new tech. So Velaflash, blue. So it's going to get if it is red Earthlore, gets a +5. So that would be coming in for 8 plus the bonus from the Bramble Spark. So we do see a yellow Earthlore. That's still a +4. I mean, it's still a +4. So Saint is sitting here. He's like, this is a lot. Like I need to consider what I need to block with, right? Because he didn't have a turn last turn, and you want to have a turn. You can't just block all the time. And we do have an embodiment of lightning because we did have non-attack, which is great, which does mean that this, once again, has Go Again. This is another Velaflash with Go Again. Is William all on the board? Like, does he have a hand?
Because I don't think he has any more cards because we've pitched a card. We have 3 cards, and this is one of the ones where like he didn't have an arsenal because he used all 6 cards that he had last turn.
Ah, very interesting. Very interesting. So, like, if he doesn't have a hand, it means unless he has resources floating that we don't know about, it means he can't follow this up with that Rosetta Thorn. Which means
I believe he does it because the Surge costs 2 and the Velaflash costs 1, and he pitched a 3 resource card here. So this does look like. He was kind of like, I think he was kind of jokingly like, yeah, I have a token or whatever, because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And so this is the point that you're kind of talking about. Saint's kind of in the tank here because of he's got to weigh defense versus offense here.
For sure. It's a very interesting line, too, from William. He had a couple of lines here. He could have popped that Deep Blue to gain more resources to maybe follow it up with a Rosetta Thorn, but he could just be like, hey, I've got a decent commanding tempo lead. I could just save that for later. I can save that for a turn where I want to use it in conjunction with my Sutcliffes and have like a much bigger turn later, because I already have a good turn here, taking Saint down to 4. To 4.
Huge swing here from William down to 4, and this is like what you were talking about. This is kind of the danger zone because not only do you have to start blocking every attack, but arcane damage is scary. We see a Singeing Steel Blade in William's hand. That's going to be an unblockable part of damage, depending on how it's sequenced, because there is a Runaways down here on Saint's side, so he might be able to stop 1 point of arcane.
Runaways is actually, so against some classes, not great, but against Briar, I think Runaways is pretty solid.
Absolutely.
Can very reliably prevent 1 damage.
Not very good against like Ultim, who's only attacking you like with 1 thing every turn.
So it looks like Saint's debating cracking his plume. Okay, so it's going to be able to get an Earth card. So he's going to grab, it looked like the, is this the Break Ground?
It's Break Ground, yes.
Okay, so it looks like he's going to get a Break Ground. He doesn't have a card in Arsenal to get use of that effect
he does,
actually.
Ground? So yeah, he's going to go ahead and use it.
Oh, he does. He picked it up. Okay, cool. So he gets to draw a card. So he gets to tuck that card from Arsenal and then draw a card, which is great. Being able to draw a card, replace that card from your Arsenal. Maybe that card in your Arsenal wasn't that great. And then you get a card in your hand, which is awesome. So you can either re-Arsenal this card or maybe use it in other ways.
Not to mention, this is a pretty big attack, too. William is at 11.
Oh yeah.
But he has 2 embodiments, but this might be able to get some damage through, because when you look at William's hand, this is the kind of hand you don't really want to block with too much if you can, but this is an Earthlore Surge.
Oh, no.
Oh, wow, this is a big block.
You see him blocking with a Velaflash and Earthlore. So if I'm Saint here, and I see him blocking with these 2 cards, and I'm like, oh, this is scary.
Yeah.
Like, he's blocking with 2, like, premium cards. And it means, like, the other cards in his hand have got to be some spice. And once again, I mentioned this the last turn. He's sitting on, like, a pretty nice suite of equipment here. And he's just like, hey, I got a nice hand. I want to push some damage through, and I think I can do it.
Yeah, exactly. And Saint's going to go ahead and Arsenal up, pass the turn after drawing 4 cards. And we're going back over to William here at 11. Saint down to 4. William's got 2 cards in his hand, but you see that one of these is going to be able to possibly get through some arcane damage here.
I do. Yeah, that Singeing Steel Blade, even if it's a blue, always does that arcane damage, which is very nice. It's very, very nice. It will always give you that embodiment of Earth, which is, once again, really good on the back end. So, yeah, it's coming in. Is this a red one? If it's a red one, it's coming in for 4. which is still really good. Really, really good breakpoint here. Even if it's a yellow one, coming in for 3 is still a really good breakpoint for Tales of Aria because a lot of cards end up blocking for 2. So it still commands almost a, like, you know, got to block with 2 cards. And Saint being at 3, you really are incentivized to block. I've talked about this already. 3 is what I would consider kill zone territory. You're in the territory where a single card can knock you out.
Now, since William is out of cards here, you know, nothing else is going to be happening here.
Yep.
Is this one of the turns where you're going to have to kind of take a risk? You know, you need to make sure that you can keep some cards in your hand to kind of try to turn this game around.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So it looks like Saint's going to block for 3. He's going to block with an attack action for 3. Is he going to take 1 here, or was that a yellow?
He did take the one from the Arcane.
Okay, so he definitely took the one from Arcane. William does have that embodiment. He should have the embodiment of Earth token. And so Saint, he has 3 cards in hand, 1 in Arsenal. So it looks like he can come back with a turn, which is great. I mean, you need to have a turn.
It feels like he hasn't had a proactive turn with about, what, 2 or 3 turns here now?
Yeah,
so this is real big for Saint.
Yeah, I've definitely been there. You know, sitting there, you're like, I need to get back in here. I need to. Okay, so here we do have a Stir the Wildwood. So can Saint fuse this card? Because if you can fuse it, it'll get a nice little +2, which is great, right? You want to be able to pump it up. We do have 1 resource floating. And it looks like he might not be fusing it here. So if it's a yellow, it's going to be coming in for 4. Red will be coming in for 5. Either way, still pretty good, right? William here, so like if I'm William here, I know my opponent's at 3. I'm like, do I just take it? Like, I could just have an awesome turn. Like,
yeah.
I probably just take it.
I think it's a spot where if your hand is offensive at all, which looks like it, I think I see a Weave of Lightning in his hand.
Oh, yeah.
This is the turn where you're like, yeah, take it all. You get an embodiment, and we're going to push some damage here. Ooh, what are you getting excited about?
I do see some spice in here. So he has a rare card in his hand. Okay, so he's going to start out with Weave Lightning. So this is going to give, if it's a red one, it's a +3. Okay, this card, if he fuses it, will deal 1 arcane damage, and then it'll get Go again if it deals arcane damage. So he is going to fuse it, revealing an Electrify. So it's going to deal 1 arcane damage, which is bad for Saint, really bad for Saint. It's going to take him down to 2, and have Go again, and have the buff from the Weave Lightning. So this is a very threatening attack. This is scary. Like, if I'm Saint here, I'm like, I might be dead this turn.
I don't know if Saint can get out of this, too. Like you said, there's all that going on, and then there's still the card left over in hand that was revealed for Fuse, and there's a Go again, so there might be a Thorn here behind. So, like, you're probably taking at least 2
minimum Thorn
of Arcane as well. So Saint here, this is the turn.
Okay, so we have basically 3 arcane damage on board, but Saint can prevent 1 of it with his Runaways. So that Runaways are one of the few ways to actually prevent the arcane damage in this set. So he can still do that if he has to. So he's not technically dead on board. So he can block it out. Okay, it's just kind of showing that he's got that Electrify, but it's still very, very threatening. Has Go again.
It's pretty important for him to know the card that's left over in your hand here, because
for sure.
This is Saint's one of the last turns of the game here. This is the most important turn of the game that we've seen 100%. So far. So he just wants to know. Yeah, we saw this got fused, but I want to know what's the card that's behind this. Do you have enough to pitch to attack me with your weapon? Is this a card I need to worry about?
Yeah, Electrify in hand. It's not super threatening here. It's like, it's fine, right? But it's not super threatening. It's not another like massive 0 cost 4 attack kind of card. But William's still in a really, really good situation. Like, if I'm William here, I'm like, this is my turn, right? This is my turn. I can try to close this out.
You're expecting to win here is what you're saying if you're William.
For sure. I mean, like, you got to be like, is Saint going to see the Runaways? Because, like, you got to use the Runaways here. Because, like, you're dead on board without the Runaways, basically. 1 arcane damage from that, 1 arcane damage from the Rosetta Thorn. Does have Go again. So it's scary here. So it looks like he is going to crack the Runaways. So it's going to prevent some damage. Ooh, okay. We have a Sigil of Suffering here. It's a defense reaction. It's going to basically block for 4 and deal 1 arcane damage back, which is not bad. Like, you definitely, as Saint, like, to stay in the game, you need to chip your opponent down and get to a point where you can threaten some damage. It looks like he's going to go to 1, and then we have the Rosetta coming in. No, you really had to block a lot more on that attack here. That Rosetta Thorn coming in, pushing in that Arcane is brutal. It's brutal. So this, I think, might be the game here.
Yeah, it does look like this is going to be too much for Saint to be able to stop.
Or did he go to 1, including that 2 arcane damage?
That I'm unsure of.
Because interesting. Well, we'll see how this plays out.
Because he has used the Runaways already, so he has prevented some of the damage from earlier.
Yeah, so like he took 1 arcane damage from the effect on the attack. We did have a +3 from the Weave Lightning. He blocked for 4 here. Was the attack coming in for 4? It's hard to tell the pitch value on the screen, but either way, I mean, honestly, either way, this is not a good place to be in. Definitely not a good place to be in. And so I guess we're just kind of in the tank here, seeing what Saint wants to block with. If you're William, you're pretty happy. You still have a nice suite of equipment. You still have your boots. You still have your deep blue. Ragamuffins hat might not come into play here. Ooh, okay. So Saint did have a decent card in his hand. Pretty good arcane damage card here. This also means that Saint's basically not going to have a great turn.
Yeah, but it does mean that he does get another turn here because that block is going to stay at 1. But I do think he's just going to have to pass right back over to William with not much to do. So William get any more arcane damage through?
You gotta hear the bells tolling. Mm-hmm. Like it's end game. Like this is it. So we have a pitch.
All right, we have a pitch from Saint. He's going to make a couple of resources here. Let's see if he can get something going. He has to get something going here. He needs to get some damage through to William.
So he's like, okay.
Set up an embodiment of lightning. Maybe. Oh, this is a gain life spell.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Puts him up to 4. I mean, it kind of keeps him in the game here. I kind of, to be honest, I kind of undervalue this card a little bit.
100% the same here.
Yeah, but in this situation, it looks like it gives him a chance. It gives him a fighting chance. The card's called Rejuvenate, gains him a little bit of life. If you fuse, I believe you can play it as an instant.
Yeah.
But not bad. So Saint gets to draw up. He has a 4-card hand, 4 life, so not too bad.
This is a scary one to start with, though.
So once again, I want to note, William still has Deep Blue and the Sutcliffe boots, which can give his attack go again. So he's playing a Bramble. He's playing this card, which is going to deal 1 arcane damage automatically. He plays the Stir the Wildwood. He has the option to give it go again with his boots because he has played a non-attack and an attack option. So this does kind of threaten a Rosetta Thorn, which is scary. Because he does still have a card in hand.
Yeah,
he's like, let me read that.
Saint's like, let me read this one because I feel like I'm about to die to this here.
Yeah, this is going to be an important card this turn. And this is why you want to kind of save this stuff, right? You're saving this stuff for a turn where it's really going to matter. And it's definitely really going to matter on this turn. So let's see. It really depends, I guess, on what other cards William has in hand. I mean, this is still a very threatening attack. I don't think the Bramble Spark was fused at all, but it's still gonna.
It was not, but the arcane damage has already come through, so we're sitting on Stirring Wildwood right here to see if we're gonna get what kind of blocks we're gonna get.
And so Stir the Wildwood is getting a +2 from its effect because it did deal arcane damage. So this is a very threatening attack. So yeah, I mean, like once again, Saint's sitting here and he's like, oh no, we have a big attack threatening a Rosetta Thorn, which will deal like a minimum of 2 arcane. So. If you think about it that way, right? If you're thinking about it that way, you're like, okay, he can deal me 2 arcane out of nowhere. So I'm kind of at 1, right? I need to play this like I'm at 1. So if I take any damage at all, if I go to 2, like he could just kill me.
It does look like Saint's gonna full block out, and then it looks like William's gonna go ahead and just arsenal and not threaten anything further this turn.
Yeah, because I think his reasoning here is like, oh, I can't guaranteed kill him, so I'm gonna save this for a turn where I can. And I think that's a good play here.
Oh, we got a good start of a turn here for Saint.
Good old ball of lightning.
This is a ball of lightning, yeah.
This is the first ball of lightning of the match.
Very surprising.
Yeah,
but we're seeing a little more of the Earth side.
That is true
for the players here.
I do like Earth and Briar.
I do as well.
The Earth Lore Surges are very nice, especially the red ones. They're very, very nice.
Yeah, Bramble Spark's a really great card. Stirring Wildwood along with Bramble Spark's very, very powerful, especially if you can fuse it. That's a lot of damage for not a lot of resources.
I want to note that William just looked at the card in his arsenal, and we see that it's an Electrify. So that could mean a very big turn from him, because Electrify lets you draw a card when you play it from Arsenal. And we also see a Bramble Spark, and it looks like we have a Flash, which will give a card go again. And let's see, Shock Striker, and I'm not sure what the third card is. But either way, like, he's looking at his hand, and he's like, I think I can string something good here. Because I look at it, and I'm like, I think I can string something good here as well.
It looks like we've got a block here from William on the ball lightning with that Flash.
Blocking with the Flash. So we'll block for 2, because he doesn't have any embodiment of Earth. Which is fine, like getting this out of your hand, especially if you don't need it, because he's got those boots. I think it's a good call. I don't think this card would be that big coming in. Okay, so Saint's gonna crack his Mark of Lightning. So
it's gonna make him actually take 2 here because of the ball lightning in 100%. Play. So that is huge. That creates an embodiment because it's the attack doing the damage.
Yep, for sure. So I mean, like 2 damage. Pretty good. And this gets your opponent down into that kill threshold, being able to get that tempo back. So, like, once again, if I'm William here and I'm like, maybe I'm starting to sweat a little bit here. Maybe I had the tempo advantage. Maybe I thought the game was closed out, but maybe not so much anymore. So this is really showing like the give and take of not just this match, but of Flesh and Blood in general, where games can be very close and every single card matters. Even a card as innocuous as those, the Mark of Lightning. So it's very, very interesting. And this is one of the reasons why I love Flesh and Blood, by the way. This is one of the reasons. Every game is so close. Everything matters, and I absolutely love it. Even, like, you always have that ability to come back. And so this is a pretty big attack, right? So this is either going to be coming in. I can't tell which pitch it is.
I think it's a 2.
So this is still
going to be a 1, though.
If it's a 2, it's going to be coming in for...
I think it might be a 1. I think this might be for 7.
Yeah, so 7, pretty good, right? One thing to note, it will not do an extra damage from Ball Lightning, because Ball Lightning cares about Elemental or Lightning, and this is neither. This is an Earth card. So it won't do that extra point of damage here.
And so he's kind of pointing that out. Maybe they are actually taking the point of damage here, not knowing that. So not sure if the light totals are 100% correct here, but it does look like William's going to be going down to 2 embodiment of Earth tokens created on Saint's turn here.
Yeah.
He's going to draw 4 cards.
I think this is a great turn.
Up.
Great turn for Saint.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think this puts him in the spot to actually steal a game that looked like was unwinnable.
Oh yeah. So
now
William is at 2, meaning
he's going to activate a Deep Blue here.
Okay, so here we go. We get some equipment activations here. He's got to keep in mind that being at 2 against a okay, well here we go. Electrify.
He's trying. Oh wow, he's trying to.
Oh, no.
He's trying to make this work off the top of his deck.
Oh, this is. If you're Saint, you're like, all right, this is a decent place to be. So he's coming in. We've seen this card a lot so far this weekend, and I think we'll continue to see it. Absolutely fantastic card. 0-cost card. This plays from Arsenal. Gains go again, and it's threatening an extra little bit of damage from that Electrify. So it's basically saying, hey, I don't want to take a hit here. Yeah. So I think this is going to be a pretty crucial turn here. So Saint is potentially considering blocking with this Singeing Steel Blade, and he's coming in.
And this is the biggest thing that we were talking about here is finally those boots get activated. I'm sorry, the Suede gets activated into the Rosetta Throne. I said Rosetta Stone again.
Yeah, Rosetta Throne. Yeah.
Coming in, and so this was so important for Saint to stay at 3 life over the last couple turns because
100%.
He can block the 2 physical damage from this card. But blocking that arcane, there's no way for him to do it from here.
Yeah, once again, like this is like the kill zone, right? And being able to use those boots once again on this turn, where you are able to use your Deep Blue and the boots on a turn, makes for a turn that might not have been very good otherwise, right? It really gives him that little edge to push through. And so it looks like Saint's going to block with another very spicy card, another Singeing Steel Blade, which is a very good card to have when your opponent's at 2 health.
But you can see he's not happy about having to block with those cards.
Yeah, he's like, no, that was my out. Mm-hmm. And like when you're sitting at the low health, right? If you're sitting at 2, right, it just means any Rosetta Thorn. Oh, good way to start.
Ball Lightning. And if he could back this up with another 0-cost card, this could be a huge turn out of 2 cards from Saint, because this is something that Lightning can do. You can see multiple spells and cards getting played without any actual resources. They have a lot of free spells that do a lot of really good stuff.
I know. I can see what Saint's plan was here. We have another Ball Lightning.
Ball Lightning. Okay, so this is a good bit of damage. So if any damage gets through, it's going to be lethal. So he has to. This has to be full blocked.
Yeah, and this is a little bit of a rough turn because he had the 2 Singeing Steel Blades, and then Ball Lightning into Singeing Steel Blade would have been nice. It would have been very nice.
And this is the one deterrent of playing Ball Lightning. The one bad thing about it, we've been singing its praises all day long. Ball Lightning does not defend for anything.
Blocks for 0, which is like a good balancing factor for the card, right? Otherwise, it would be. I mean, it's already very, very strong, but it would be that much stronger. And
you can't feel great if you're Saint here because you're going into a turn with.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Okay, so we need to see if this card gets fused. So this is a Flicker Wisp. So Flicker Wisp is a card that if it's fused, all arcane damage. Oh, that's just going to be game.
It's just going to go ahead and be game.
Yep, that's game.
And they are excited. And look, look at Saint. He's so mad about having to pitch these Steel Blades.
Oh.
Look at this. I love seeing how pumped they're getting. William Bradshaw, I believe William Bradshaw moving on to 3-0 and getting super excited about that match. And Saint, being the great sport that he is, gets up and he's like, I had you with the Singeing Steel Blades, but never was able to actually find a spot to get through because Here's the funny part. I think if he doesn't have 2 ball lightnings there, if he only has 1,
yeah.
he might have won that game.
Yeah, I think it was close. I love how Saint kind of came back, right? He didn't get there, but I love how it really felt that William was way ahead, at least in my opinion. Felt like William was way ahead, but Saint was able to come back and able to get a little bit of tempo and make it into like a very close game, which I love. I absolutely love to see it.
Yeah, you had kind of mentioned it a bunch of times about how you feel like all the games are really, really close, and they are, and they come down to these little, minute decisions. So Saint's going to be moving down to 2-1. Williams going to be moving up to 3-0. I'd be pumped too if I was moving up to 3-0.
I would also be pumped. Yeah.
So that's going to do it for round 3. We're going to take a very small break. We'll be right back with round 4 here from the calling. So there'll be some more Flesh and Blood. So don't go anywhere.